Hello everyone,
Hey,
welcome back to a new vlog.
sorry it's been a while.
I've been busy, I don't think he has.
No, but we only vlog it together and can't have single person vlogs unless we try to do that kind of thing.
We may have to try to do that in a few weeks because I do have to talk to you about something soon, but that's not important right now. What's important is E3. E3 happened and it was crazy. We unfortunately didn't go.
Yeah, no, we're not that popular.
Not yet.
At least when it comes to gaming on YouTube, not yet. We're getting there.
But we did watch enough footage of the stuff at E3 that, you know, we have a good general idea of what happened. I didn't watch too much of the Xbox stuff, so I'm not sure what went down. All I know is that there's a new system.
Xbox One X, which is, well,
I think it's pretty much the Xbox One, just with additional features.
No, it's better on the inside. It's smaller. It can handle 4K at 60 frames, which is really good.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see what happens. The internet, of course, is still trolling Xbox. They are making fun of it still.
Well, you know, it's a given.
You know, obviously they have their exclusive that came out, like Forza and all that. But for the record, so you guys know, me and him are more Sony guys. We PlayStation all the way.
Definitely.
I mean, I did join the PC Master Race, and it's looking pretty good. But when it comes to the main war, I am PS4. So I don't have the PS4 Pro though. I still have my day one, so that's good.
Yes, and yeah, the Sony stuff is pretty much mostly what I paid more attention to.
Yeah, same.
Even though it's not directly Sony, I mean it's PlayStation stuff. One of the first things I do want to talk about is the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. I don't know if you watched anything about that because I know you wanted to keep as in the dark as you wanted to about that.
All I watched was when they announced it at the PSX of last year, and you know, I saw that trailer, and that's it. I haven't watched any other trailers, no gameplay.
All right. I won't say anything that's spoilery. All I'll say is that a while ago they announced the trophies.
Yeah, I do know that.
And apparently some of the trophies it sort of references an old commercial from another Crash game that's not in the trilogy, so it may hint at another remastered game coming out after that.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
But anyway, like, you know, the moves, the style, like they released the intros to the other two games. They look fantastic. I really love the updated look. It's like pretty much with remastered games, it's not much of creating a new design. It's updating an older design, and they did that perfectly well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of glad they didn't show off anything in E3 since it is coming out in 15 days.
Pretty much.
So, you know.
No, it's going to be really good.
And then, I mean, the only thing that annoyed me about Sony a little bit was that, like, their press conference, they showed a lot of stuff they showed last year, which means, I mean, I get it. The thing when it comes to games in production, don't rush it, because there's been a history of rushed games that end up sucking, so I understand we have to wait for games to be basically to our perfection, but like Detroit Become Human, yeah, it had a longer trailer, but I mean, still doesn't look great yet.
I think what it is that with this year's E3, a lot of Sony is like, here's what we're up to so far, because I kind of agree with you with a little bit of the annoying. It's like, okay, we've seen all this already. I think what it more of is hey, we're still working on the stuff we showed last year, but it's only because we're almost done with everything. Because like, if they showed completely new stuff, then yeah, it'd be cool to see, but then it'd be a lot farther away from when we get the chance to play it all. Like a lot of the stuff that they showed us is either going to be available this year or next year.
Yeah, like I still don't know how to feel about Assassin's Creed Origins yet, because
I like the look. I like that it's taking it farther back. I'm hoping that it kind of has the same style that like the original games had. Like, I don't hate the newer ones.
Dude, the last two sucked.
Well, they weren't great. It's the only thing I really liked about the most recent one is the setting. I love the industrial era and stuff. The way they handled the game wasn't great, but I still loved the setting. I loved the characters, but the original ones were always the better ones in my opinion. Hell, even I even like the third one a lot. Also,
no.
it's more of the setting and the characters than the gameplay and stuff.
I liked 1, everything that had to deal with number 2, and then 4. I like Black Flag.
Ironically enough, I played the second one. The only Assassin's Creed game I've not actually fully played was, I think, the Brotherhood one.
Oh, that's like one of the really good ones, yeah.
No, I really do need to check that one out. But, I mean, besides that, I do like the setting for this one as well. And we don't really know much else besides, like, the setting. I really didn't look up anything else. I didn't see the game. You did? How is it?
I saw some gameplay, and it looks pretty cool. So they still have that whole... You know how most of the games, it's like you deal with a hawk or an eagle or a bird type thing that has to do with, like, you know... it's a symbol, basically.
Yeah.
So in the game, they're in this area where... so basically, there's this fortress. It's not really a fortress, it's just an area where, you know, there's bad guys. And you can be a hawk. I think it's a hawk, and you can fly around and target bad guys and stuff, and there's new ways of killing and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't like when you kill innocent people anymore. The game will tell you, please don't do that.
Well, yeah, I think all the games say that. Like whenever you kill an innocent bystander, like the game will always say like assassins never killed innocents.
All right, never
or
mind
something.
That. All right, I never realized that. It's been a while since I played, so yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's the game. Oh, this is the weirdest thing. I saw an article about this game. Ubisoft is releasing. I know it's going to sound like a high number, but it's only 999 versions of a $900 version of the game. And it comes
$900.
It comes with, you know, like basically you'll get anything they add to the game, obviously. But it comes with all this like merchandise and stuff, like things you put on your arm, and
that's pushing it
like
a
world map and all this other stuff. It's like
if it was like $100, then maybe I'd get it, but 900?
It's like the legendary edition or something like that.
More like the overexpensive edition.
I don't know who's getting that, but
we all know people out there that will pay that much to get that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm ready to talk about my favorite part of E3, which was the Spider-Man gameplay footage. I've been following that game ever since they announced it at last year's E3 when it showed a small trailer, but it was really cool. Obviously, it was a cinematic... At the time, we thought it was just a cinematic thing. Because, you know, a lot of times when they show trailers for games, it's mostly just a cinematic trailer where they spend more time on the cutscenes and the look and everything. But it turns out that the gameplay looks the exact same as the cutscenes, and I really liked how it did not have any transition. It didn't have any like how some games where it shows the character, then it blacks out for like a second, and then it shows the gameplay. Like, it just went right into it, and I really liked that it took nothing to go for that. It looks beautiful,
and we got 9 minutes of it. 9 minutes.
It was fantastic. I loved how it looks like the game is going to be focusing more on like a criminal organization kind of game. Because a lot of the Spider-Man games that have been out for a long time, it focused very little on like the regular petty criminals and crime organizations, and mostly focused on the big villains like Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Mysterio, and stuff like that. So I'm glad if they're going in this direction. It really looks like they're going in that direction where the big villains are going to be the crime boss like Kingpin, Mr. Negative, who is technically a new villain. He's been around since I think like 08 or 09 in the comics, so he's fairly new to a lot of like the Spider-Man fans that are outside the comics and everything. There was even a little cameo at the end. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I won't spoil that. I would just recommend
it's pretty interesting.
Watch that trailer right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, like it looks like they got the swing mechanic down.
Oh, they really did.
The fighting looks great. I don't want to be this guy, but I will. I mean, I know it's not the whole game. I know it's just basically big parts of the story. But I've never been a fan when it comes into video games of QuickTime events. It's just something I'm not a fan of. But when you really look at the trailer, you see how they make the game work. It makes sense. Like, I don't know what else you're gonna do in those situations in the game. That only like.
Well, yeah, it kind of has that feeling of this is part of the cutscene, but you can be a part of it too, kind of thing. Where like it's not like with a lot of games that have QuickTime events, like games that are solely QuickTime events. A lot of the times that they make it a part of the game, it's a very super quick. Obviously, what they call QuickTime events, but like sometimes they make it too fast for you to react. But like I like with this game, they make the QuickTime events fast enough so that you can react and understand what you have to do, unlike other games where you have to do all these things at once and it's so confusing about what you have to do. But with this one, it's nice, it's simple, and it doesn't rely too much on it. Like I think you get like 4 or maybe 5 QuickTime buttons to like push in the trailer.
I mean, yeah.
But like the rest of it is all purely like regular fight gameplay stuff. There's stealth in it, because he has to like swoop around and stuff. It reminds me a lot of the Batman Arkham games,
which everyone says.
Yeah, I know. But like the thing is that ever since I've seen the Arkham games, I've always said that fighting style has always reminded me of Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is more of an agility type, while Batman's just more of a either behind the shadows or up front, punch him in the face kind of guy. Spider-Man's more of a backflip, jumping all over the place. He's all agility, and that's where a lot of his fighting styles come from, is agility. So it makes a lot more sense to see that kind of style in this game.
Yeah.
So
and
really good.
They've already announced a few things that's official, like it's open world.
So happy.
6 to 7 times bigger than Sunset Overdrive's map. I've never played the game, but I saw the map and I'm like, if it's gonna, I mean, Manhattan, yeah, very huge place. If they're trying to make this as realistic to be like Manhattan, that's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah, insane.
Because like 9 minutes, and they went around a good portion of what you thought was the map. That's actually a really small part of the map that they went around.
Definitely.
I watched I watched a video today about the game, and someone in an interview asked one of the developers, he's like, so since you guys are doing your own thing and you want to make this realistic, can you play as Peter Parker and not just Spider-Man? And on the video, the guy, according to them, they're like, the developer went like, well
no,
and then like he didn't really get into it, but like he kind of hinted.
I remember reading something that said that you would be playing as Peter as well. At the time, I wasn't sure if that was true or not. I do.
Maybe when it comes to interactions with Mr. Miles.
Maybe so.
I don't know.
I think that there are going to be good portions of the game where you do have to go as Peter Parker. Like if anyone remembers the Spider-Man 2, which is everyone knows is the best Spider-Man game ever, there are segments of the game where you are Peter Parker. Well, not like many times, only when you go in the Daily Bugle or when you go see Mary Jane or when you see Harry or anything. You're just Peter, and you don't really do much. I think that there will be segments in this new game where you do have to be Peter Parker to go to certain areas and stuff, because there are some places where Spider-Man can't go, where where people are gonna notice him right away. Nobody's gonna notice a puny kid like Peter. Like he's gonna sleaze on by without anyone noticing.
Yeah.
So I think that is gonna happen and stuff. And I think my cat just jumped on the chair, so he's behind you right now. So be careful.
I feel him.
I didn't watch anything for God of War, but it looks beautiful.
I've never played, so like it's not the biggest thing in the world for me.
Neither have I. Although the games always looked interesting to me, even though I've never played them. But
I mean, hey, you know what? I thought it was a really... People will say no and yes and always fight and complain about it, but I thought Sony did a really good job at this E3. And the games are actually really close to coming out now within the next
like few months or year. Like the next Crash game is coming out at the end of this month.
But it was a good E3, I think.
The Spider-Man game is supposed to be coming out in 2018. I would
early
I would guess early 2018. I think they showed multiplayer stuff for the Call of Duty World War II.
I didn't realize it was multiplayer at first until I went on YouTube and they're like multiplayer. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing is, I saw actual gameplay of it, and that's when it looked really good.
No, yeah. So... in my opinion, the Call of Duty games will always look very similar.
Yeah,
But I do like how in this one it looks like they're actually trying to make it like even a little bit different, because you can tell if you could tell from like Black Ops, they realized, hey, we could just copy and paste,
yeah.
Onto all these other games, and that's pretty much what they did for a very long time. And I think now they're like, let's try something different, and I hope it does well, because I use Black Ops is my favorite Call of Duty game, and I've been playing a little bit of Modern Warfare Remastered because Modern Warfare is one of the best games also, and I don't know. I hope it does well.
I mean, I'm still debating if I want to get it because it looks good. In my opinion, I've been biased with this game because it's just
Repetitive.
It's been repetitive. It's been just, I mean, I see all the complaints all the time. Black Ops 2, I gave it back to GameStop within a month. It was just,
I didn't even buy Black Ops 3 because I remember.
Oh, I never got it. Yeah, or Ghosts.
I remember going to my friend's house and he was playing it, and he said, I literally only had it for 2 days, and I can tell it is the exact same game as the first two Black Ops, just with one new thing put on. And it was like a weird octopus thing that gave you weapons or something, and that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I know that people still complain about this COD because Sledgehammer's they're trying to be realistic, but then they get rid of the Nazi symbol in multiplayer. Hold on. Who cares? Is multiplayer about realism or about
just playing the game? Playing the game.
It's
honestly,
about playing the
matter.
game. Who cares if there were there's black female Nazis in the game? Who cares? It doesn't matter.
You don't play the games for the full-on realism. You play the games because they're pretty
COD?
damn fun.
Who plays COD for the history and realism of it? No one. Not one person. Maybe there's one. Okay, I'm sorry. But you know what? We'll see what happens. I might get it, but I think we're done with this vlog today.
I think so too. Oh, one more thing I do want to talk about before we end. They did also show gameplay for the new Star Wars Battlefront 2. I personally like it. I like all the changes. I like there's going to be a story mode to it. I really like the story mode for it because, it's about the villains. And it's about this one villain that, wants to take out the rebellion and Jedi and stuff. And that's something we don't really see much besides, I guess, the Force Unleashed games, which, turned him into a hero and stuff like that. But that game I am interested in, and I may get that one as well. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
Not really. I just hope that it ends up being better than the first one. And so far, based off of what we've seen, it does look like it, but can't trust it until you actually have it in your hands.
It's true.
I mean, now you can look at gameplay for people that were there. So
that's true.
Yeah. Now, Pat, I think it's time for question of the day.
That's right. Today's question is, what was your favorite moment of E3?
Comment down below.